Good morning, everyone. So those of you listening on YouTube don't know that about 5 minutes before the service, we do a pre-service video. And today we showed Come and Get Your Love. How many people in the congregation know the song Come and Get Your Love that we played? How many of you before this morning know that that was a Native American band, Redbone? So one person, so two people so far. Yeah, so Redbone was a Native American band, and Come and Get Your Love was from them, which is, at the beginning, they were on the Midnight Special, I think was the video, and they did a Native American dance, which is why I chose to show that today. I think they're pretty awesome. So anyway, and I want to thank Noriko for subbing for Jared today. So Noriko, thank you for being with us this morning. So welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati. I am Alexander Riegel, Developmental Minister here at First U and this morning's Worship Associate. We're delighted that you have joined us today both in person and online for our Intergenerational Thanksgiving Service. Our intention is to get out a bit early so we can get to the food sooner rather than later. We have a potluck following the service this morning. Come for the worship, stay for the food. That should be our slogan. Our church is a place where you can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. We are a community committed to social justice and to supporting the various spiritual and ethical paths of our members and friends. Our congregation was founded in 1830, and we have worshiped in this building since 1889. But we acknowledge that we do occupy stolen land that is the ancestral home of the ancient earthwork and mound builders, most recently the Miamia and Shawnee peoples. This is an uncomfortable history that we must recognize as we struggle to live with the implications of this profound injustice. If you would like to know more about our church or about the Unitarian Universalist faith, please contact us by emailing member-care@firstuu.com. For those watching at home, this email address is in the description of today's service on our YouTube page. Our congregation strives to be welcoming to all, so you will see signs for various accommodations posted around the church and also listed in the order of service. Our ushers would be glad to answer any questions you may have this morning. And also, sharing our joys with each other and our sorrows and concerns with each other is part of being a beloved community. If you'd like to share something with the congregation, please complete the form on the back of your order of service and place it in the offering basket or on the desk at the back of the sanctuary when you leave. And today's flowers are dedicated by Mary Mark. So Mary Mark, thank you for this morning's bouquet. We've recently had a few sessions for those who are new to our church, and at the end of those sessions we gave people the opportunity to join. So I want us to take a moment before we greet our neighbors and greet our newer members this morning, whose pictures you will see up there, and some of whom are sitting in the congregation today. So let's take a moment to welcome Claire Bushhorn. George Hood. George is in the back there. And Emily Morse. Did I say that right, Morse? Emily Morse. And if you're newer to First U and you're considering membership, we do like people to go through our 3 sessions of getting to know Unitarian Universalism in this congregation, and we'll be teaching that again starting in mid-January. But if you've been through that and you haven't yet joined, and you decide between now and then that you'd like to be part of our beloved community, just reach out to me at any time, and we'll make sure we can help you make that happen. All right, so let's take a moment and let's say hi to the folks on YouTube. A big wave to our YouTube folks, and take a few minutes to greet our neighbors this morning. Y'all loving on each other too much. Get back to your seats now, come on. It's like herding cats sometimes. All right, so we're gonna take a moment and Barb Dickerson is gonna come up to the pulpit and give us a board update.
Don't worry, I don't have an overlong speech here, but when I went to print out my notes this morning, my printer went kaput on me, so I had to put it on my iPad. Good morning to everyone who's here and everybody online. Good to have you with us today. I'm going to give you about a mile-high overview of what's been happening this weekend. So, Saturday night, we were sitting with Lisa Presley for her to give us an overview of what happens with a developmental ministry. Friday. I'm not going to get into the details of what was discussed because we did we recorded the audio session where the plan is to transcribe it and distribute notes to the congregation. But what's really important to underline is there were 60 plus people in that room. The excitement, the interest, the participation, it was wonderful. And I'm hearing reactions from people to what went on Friday night. So that's a really great start to kicking off, the formal kickoff for the ministry. Then Saturday, the board and the developmental goals team sat together for a 6-hour session with breaks, of course, to help keep us focused, but that was a very productive time. And I'm going to pause here to make sure that you all know the names of the developmental goals team: Nancy Sawyer, Dick Miltner, Dee Steele, and representing the board in that group is Ramona Beck. So we've got a good team that we put together. So just one mile-high comment on the tenor of the discussion. We realize that the goals that we have right now are very aspirational. They probably need to be unpacked a bit. But having been online, I've been looking at congregations throughout the system. Our goals look a lot pretty much like everybody else's that I've uncovered. But we do have to be thinking about short-term versus longer-term goals and kind of unpacking that a bit and how are we going to report on progress. One thing that it is an obvious thing that we know about, the communication with the congregation is going to be really important, and we are talking about ways to make sure that you receive communications regularly on what's happening with the developmental goals process. One of those means under discussion is putting something on our webpage, which is also a common practice throughout the system. So I'm going to finish with a little bit of acknowledgments and thanks to everybody. So the team that brung us here, the search committee that ended up bringing Alex to the community, that was me, Dick Miltner, Jenny Casey Leininger, Barbara Bonney. You were a fabulous team to work with. I don't know much about the congregation. I don't have the deep-seated knowledge that many of you do, but I learned a lot working with that group. Nominating committee, special shout out, because pulling together the developmental goals team, we really wanted to make sure that they were representative of the congregation, and I had to ask them for help. And this is not part of their normal brief, but they stepped forward and did it, so thank you so much. And finally, a very special shout out to Patty Kelly, who just seems to be one of these veteran volunteers for just about anything, sent me a note as we were pulling this weekend together, and she said, I'll take care of the Friday night dinner. She also stepped in when we had to pull office supplies together, so Patty, thank you so much for what you contributed. And thanks to everyone.
So you'll notice in the order of service that we're going to do a bread communion toward the end of the service today. And I want to highlight the fact that Barbara Bonney lovingly baked our bread this morning. So thank you, Barbara. And if you would come up and light our chalice, that would be wonderful. We light our chalice to the words of Alan Alexander Milne, the author of Winnie the Pooh. Today was a difficult day, said Pooh. There was a pause. Do you want to talk about it? Asked Piglet. "No," said Pooh after a bit. "No, I don't think so." "That's okay," said Piglet. And he came and he sat beside his friend. "What are you doing?" asked Pooh. "Nothing, really," said Piglet. "Only I know what difficult days are like. I quite often don't feel like talking about it on my difficult days either." "But goodness," continued Piglet, "difficult days are so much easier when you know you've got someone there for you. And I'll always be here for you, Pooh." And as Pooh sat there, working through in his head his difficult day, while the solid and reliable Piglet sat next to him quietly, swinging his little legs, Pooh thought that his best friend had never been more right. Our first hymn this morning is number 68 in the Gray Hymnal, "Come Ye Thankful People." Please turn to it and rise as you are able. So for our message for all ages this morning, just please direct your attention to the screen behind the pulpit.
Thankful by Elaine Vickers. Pictures by Samantha Cotterell. Every year, when the first snow falls, we make thankful chains to last us through December. It is hard to think of all the things to be thankful for in a whole year, so I start right in my own room. I am thankful for a home where I am safe and warm. Thankful for parents who read me stories and brush my hair gently, gently. Who whisper the same poem every night when they tuck me in. Good night, dream sweet things. Let them carry you on their wings. And whatever tomorrow brings, I love you. I am thankful for all those things, love and dreams, night and morning, for a moon and a sun that always come back, for stars and candles to make my wishes on. I am thankful for my wish that came true, a dog, round and soft, that wiggles and jumps when I am happy, and comforts me when I am scared. I am thankful for a heart that beats, and every breath in and out In and out. I am thankful for a friend who waits for me at recess and a teacher who knows when I am trying my best. I am thankful for doors that lead to wonderful places and books that do that too. I am thankful for things that are warm, soup and socks, and the spot under the covers where someone has just been sleeping. I am thankful for things that are cold, icy water in my favorite cup, a cloth on my forehead when I feel sick, snow that softens the whole world. I am thankful for things that are soft and fresh, like laundry, bread, moss on rocks. For things that are hard, like pedals and handlebars, and smooth roads for riding bikes with friends. And I am thankful for stop signs and seatbelts and things that keep me safe. Scraped knees and ripped jeans and things that get fixed. For wind and sand, but not at the same time. I am thankful for color and pencils and paper to tell my stories. My ideas keep connecting one to another until I am too sleepy to think anymore. Come, my parents say, let's get you to bed. As I pull the quilt to my chin, my parents say those special words. Good night. Dream sweet things. Let them carry you on their wings. And whatever tomorrow brings, I love you. Tomorrow, my family will read aloud the first links in our thankful chains. But tonight, all the things I'm thankful for stretch around my window, like a frame around a picture of the thing I'm thankful for most of all. Good night, world, I whisper. And thank you. I wonder, what are you thankful for most of all?
So I repeat, what are you most thankful for? Or if that's kind of a loaded question, maybe just, what are you thankful for right now? Once you have your answer, I invite you to write it on that slip of paper you got with your order of service today. Or draw it. Drawing's fine too. And if you're joining us virtually, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. And later on, when we do our bread communion, I want you to bring your slips of paper forward, put them on the side tables, and they will be made into a giant paper chain, just like in our story. And those of you who are joining us virtually, your thankful things will be put on the chain after the service.
The plate recipient, this month's Share the Plate recipient is the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, the UUSC. The UUSC is independent from the Unitarian Universalist Association, but we have enjoyed a close, supportive relationship with the association for a long time. And this month we are highlighting, the UUSC is highlighting, 4 different partners that they are supporting. And this week, there's a short video to highlight the Alliance for Black Justice in Poland.
Alliance for Black Justice in Poland, BJP's mission is to address the inequities Black and brown people are experiencing due to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The organization is deeply committed to Black, feminist, and queer frameworks. Since its founding in March 2022, BJP has provided transport between cities and border areas, legal advice for those who stay in Poland, and connected people with healthcare, safe accommodations, and other material services. Since mass evacuations have slowed, the BJP has pivoted from emergency services to providing long-term support for Black people residing in Poland. BJP plans to continue its work in a few key areas. One of those ways is through an ongoing community building activities and housing and welfare support. BJP's collaboration with UUSC helps the organization boost its public profile. While they currently have an established media presence via Facebook and Instagram, the organization wants to expand to allow them to engage with issues concerning Black people in Poland proactively.
So in just a moment, the ushers will pass the collection plates. And if you'd like to support the UUSC's efforts this month, please place your donation in the collection plate. We also encourage you to remember that another way to support the UUSC is by using the box in the brochure that you hopefully took home either last week or the week before. The box is for collecting loose change throughout the holiday season. Then when the holidays are over, we ask that you count the money in the box and write a check to the UUSC for that amount. And we'll be collecting those funds in mid-December, and the church will send them in on your behalf, and we'll let you know at that time where to bring your check. So if the ushers would come forward, we'll now take up the offering.
Reading from The Little Prince by Antoine Saint-Exupéry. And it happened that after walking for a long time through sand, rocks, and snow, the little prince at last came upon a road and said,
"All roads lead to the abodes of men."
Wandering along the road, he came upon a garden all abloom with roses.
"Good morning."
Good morning.
The little prince gazed at them. They looked just like his flower.
"Who are you?"
We are roses.
And he was overcome with sadness. His flower told him that she was the only one of her kind in the universe. And here are 5,000 of them, all alike in one single garden. So the little prince said to himself,
"She would be very much annoyed if she should see that. She would cough most dreadfully, and she would pretend that she was dying in order to avoid being laughed at. And I should be obliged to pretend that I was nursing her back to life. For if I did not do that, she would truly allow herself to die."
And then he went on with his reflections.
"I thought that I was rich, with a flower that was unique in all the world, and all I had was a common rose and 3 volcanoes that come up to my knees, and one of them perhaps extinct forever. That doesn't make me a very great prince."
And he lay down on the grass and cried. It was then that the fox appeared.
Good morning.
The little prince responded politely,
"Good morning."
although when he turned around, he saw nothing.
I am right here under the apple tree.
"Who are you? You are very pretty to look at.
I am a fox.
Come and play with me. I am so unhappy."
I can't play with you. I am not tamed.
"Ah, please, excuse me. What does that mean? Tame?"
You must not live here. What is it that you are looking for?
"I am looking for men." "What does that mean? Tame?"
Men? They have guns and they hunt. It's very disturbing. They also raise chickens. These are their only interests. Are you looking for chickens?
"No, I am looking for friends." "What does that mean? Tame?"
It is an act too often neglected. It means to establish ties.
To establish ties?
Just that. For to me, you are still nothing more than a little boy who is just like 100,000 other little boys, and I have no need of you. And you, on your part, have no need of me. To you, I am nothing more than a fox like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, then we shall need each other. To me, you shall be unique in all the world. To you, I shall be unique in all the world."
I am beginning to understand. There is a flower. I think that she has tamed me.
It is possible. On Earth, one sees all sorts of things.
Oh, but this is not on Earth.
The fox seemed perplexed and very curious.
On another planet?
Yes.
Are there hunters on that planet?
No.
Ah, that is interesting. Are there chickens?
No.
Nothing is perfect.
Then the fox came back to his idea.
My life is very monotonous. I hunt chickens, men hunt me, all the chickens are just alike, and all the men are just alike, and in consequence, I am a little bored. But if you tame me, it will be as if the sun came to shine upon my life. I shall know the sound of a step that will be different from all others. Other steps send me hurrying back beneath the ground. Yours will call me, like music. out of my burrow. And then look, you see the grain fields down yonder? I do not eat bread. Wheat is no use to me. That wheat field has nothing to say to me. And that is sad. But you have hair that is the color of gold. Think how wonderful that will be when you have tamed me. The grain, which is so golden, will bring me back the thought of you, and I shall love to listen to the wind in the wheat.
The fox gazed at the little prince for a long time.
Please, tame me.
I want to, very much, but I haven't much time. I have friends to discover and a great many things to understand.
One only understands the things that one tames. Men have no more time to understand anything. They buy things already made at the shops, but there is no shop anywhere where one can buy a friendship. And so men have no friends anymore. If you want a friend, tame me.
What must I do to tame you?
You must be very patient. First, you will sit down at a little distance from me, like that, in the grass. I shall look at you out of the corner of my eye, and you will say nothing. Words are the source of misunderstanding. You will sit a little closer to me every day.
The next day, the little prince came back.
It would have been better if you had come back at the same hour. If, for example, you came at 4 in the afternoon, then at 3 I shall begin to be happy. I shall feel happier and happier as the hour advances. At 4, I shall be worrying and jumping about. I shall show you how happy I am. But if you come at just any time, I shall never know at what hour my heart is to be ready to greet you. One must observe the proper rites.
What is a rite?
Those are actions too often neglected. They are what makes one's day different from other days, 1 hour from other hours. There is a rite, for example, if a wonderful among my hunters. Every Thursday they dance with the village girls. So Thursday is a wonderful day for me. I can take a walk as far as the vineyards. But if the hunters dance at just any time, every day would be like every other day, and I should never have any vacation at all.
So the little prince tamed the fox, and when the hour of his departure drew near, the fox said,
I shall cry.
It is your own fault. I never wished you any sort of harm, but you wanted me to tame you.
Yes, that is so.
But now you're going to cry.
Yes, that is so.
Then it has done you no good at all.
It has done me good because of the color of the wheat fields.
and then he added,
Go and look again at the roses. You will understand now that yours is unique in all the world. Then come back to say goodbye to me, and I will make you present of a secret.
The little prince went away to look again at the roses.
You are not at all like my rose, and yet you are nothing. No one has tamed you, and you have tamed no one. You are like my fox when I first knew him. He was only a fox, like 100,000 other foxes, but I've made him my friend, and now he is unique in all the world.
And the roses were very much embarrassed.
You are beautiful, but you are empty. One could not die for you. To be sure, an ordinary passerby would think my rose looked just like you, the rose that belongs to me. But in herself alone, she is more important than all the hundreds of you other roses. because it is she that I have watered, because it is she that I have put under the glass globe, because it is she that I have sheltered behind the screen, because it is for her that I have killed the caterpillars, except the 2 or 3 that we saved to become butterflies. Because it is she that I have listened to when she grumbled or boasted, or even sometimes when she said nothing, because she is my rose.
And he went back to meet the fox.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Now, here is my secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one sees rightly what is essential is invisible to the eye.
What is essential is invisible to the eye.
The little prince repeated so that he'd be sure to remember.
It is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important.
It is the time I have wasted for my rose.
Said the little prince so that he would be sure to remember.
Men have forgotten this truth, but you must not forget. You become responsible forever for what you have tamed. You are responsible for your rose.
I am responsible for my rose.
The little prince repeated so that he would be sure to remember. Then he continued on his journey.
Our next hymn this morning is number 52 in Sweet Fields of Autumn, found in the Gray Hymnal. Please rise as you are able. Almost potluck time, but before potluck time, we're going to do a little communion. Do you ever do communion here at First U? Oh, some say yep, and some say no. So the people who've been around a while remember communion, and those who are newer maybe don't remember communion. But this is a Unitarian Universalist communion. So if you have baggage around taking communion from the religion of your youth, which is now not necessarily a positive memory for you, take a breath, let that go, and we're going to do communion in a different way this morning, or at least with a different meaning. So hopefully you will be able to participate willingly and meaningfully in communion. But before we do it, I want to ask you a very simple question. What do you see? Bread? A loaf? Offering? Sustenance? Something that came out of a wheat field. Barbara's effort. I thought I was going to have to egg you on to get these answers from you, but you're really on top of it today. What else do you see? Sharing. A paper bag. Very observant. Some teaching going on. What's that? The golden top. A working oven. You guys are really on top of it this morning. Anybody see any sunshine in this? You see love? Any nutrients in this? We don't know. But the grain that grew and got used required nutrients, right? Yeast? How about intelligence? Do you see any intelligence in this loaf of bread? How is there intelligence in this loaf of bread? Came out right. If you've ever walked through the woods, have you ever found a loaf of bread just growing in the woods? No. We had to figure out through generations and generations how to harvest the wheat and mill the wheat and cook the bread in order to make a loaf of bread. That's intelligence. Yeah. So you already get the idea. This is a quick lesson. You must be hungry. Our potluck awaits. Yeah, the point of this little exercise is to point out what the Buddhists would call interbeing. And interbeing is the notion that there's nothing in existence that isn't radically connected to everything else in existence in some way. So nothing exists in and of itself. And so every action we take has all these incredible implicit connections and meanings in them. So when we take bread communion, a little slice of bread, and we pop it in our mouths and we eat it, we can do this and just munch away on the bread and swallow it while we're having thoughts or conversations, and then pop the next piece of bread in our mouth and continue likewise. Or we can just, on occasion, take a moment and recognize the profundity of just eating a little slice of bread. Everything that was required to make that come into existence for you to partake of it in that moment. I think that's pretty profound. And so as we give thanks this Thanksgiving season, let's pause frequently and just take in exactly how much thankfulness we should have for all the bounty that surrounds us. As simple as that. So I'm going to take the bread out of this bag that Barbara Bonnie so lovingly cooked for us. Thank you. Or baked for us. You bake bread, right? And Meredith was going to come up and explain to us how we're going to do all of the moving around here this morning.
So some of this must... So a lot of this will be muscle memory for many of you, but we're going to come up the side aisle. Going to drop your slips of paper at the first table you come across, and then when you get here, you'll take your offering of bread and head back to your seat through the center aisle. And please, come forward.
turned my mic off. There we go. Thank you. It's going to take us a while to get the thankfulness chain put together, but when it's put together, it's going to be displayed on the art wall out in the lobby area, so you can look for it there in the coming weeks. So as we end our service and we head over to the potluck in Ellen Hall, let's take this spirit of thankfulness and gratitude with us. And while we enjoy our fellowship with each other, let's also be conscious about how lucky we are to have the bounties that we have. Barbara, can you come forward and extinguish the chalice? We're going to extinguish our chalice to the words of A.A. Milne again, who wrote in Winnie the Pooh, "Piglet noticed that even though he had a very small heart, it could hold a rather large amount of gratitude." Blessed be everyone.